Hola, ¿qué tal amigos? Mi nombre es Frank Guillén y hoy temprano me voy a dar una vuelta por el distrito histórico. Vivo aquí en Washington High. Vamos a conocer la terraza Sylvan, una terraza con unas casas muy particulares, construida en el año 1862. El sector donde se encuentra la terraza Sylvan está construido en un estilo nuevo renacentista y romanesco. Está protegido y es un área histórica de la ciudad de Nueva York. Así como al fondo de la calle de la terraza Sylvan nos vamos a encontrar con la mansión Morris-Jumel, que es básicamente la casa más antigua de Manhattan. Histórico donde están la terraza Sylvan y la mansión Jumel Morris es como si se hubiese frisado en el tiempo. Es una versión de Nueva York que nadie conoce, que muy pocos conocen. Incluso yo he pasado muchísimas veces por esta calle, entre la 160 y la 131, y nunca me había dado cuenta que eso estaba ahí. Hasta que indagué y me di cuenta de que esa mansión es la casa más antigua de Manhattan, y no solo eso, que tiene la terraza Sylvan que se comunica con el al fondo. Es una zona bastante interesante para todos aquellos que les gustan conocer cosas que normalmente el turista no conoce. Es bonito, bien cuidado, y ya en esta zona se han filmado un par de películas, así que conozca la terraza Sylvan y al fondo la mansión Jumel Morris. Acompáñenme. Que la terraza Sylvan conserva sus piedras desde aquel entonces, una calle en piedra muy bonita, una casa interesantísima, bien cuidada, construida en el 1862 y renovada en el año 1980. Las casas se mantienen pintorescas, es como que el tiempo se frizó aquí en Nueva York. Tenemos la mansión Morris-Jumel, que básicamente es la mansión o la casa más antigua de la ciudad de Manhattan o la ciudad de Nueva York, construida en el año 1765. Luego, en el año 1776, que comenzó la guerra y la revolución entre los ingleses y los norteamericanos, la mansión pasó a ser parte del cuartel general del general George Washington en la batalla de Long Island. Una batalla en la que 20.000 norteamericanos se enfrentaron a unos 32.000 ingleses y obviamente perdieron. De aquí el nombre, que el sector se llama Washington High, y el puente que queda sobre el río Hudson, que comunica a New Jersey, se llama Washington. Además es high porque este es el punto más elevado de todo Manhattan, o sea, el punto geográfico más elevado de la ciudad de Manhattan. Thank you.
Come on in. My name is Nadia. I'm a services associate here. I will give you guys a little bit of information before we get started on the self-guided tour. Have you guys been here before?
No, the first time for us.
Okay, would you like just a little overview of the history of the house? I can tell you a little bit about it.
If you want.
Okay, so the house was built it was finished construction in 1765.
We can record?
Yeah, sure. Just no flash, yeah.
No flash.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Every time I talk about it, I want to cry.
Okay, keep going.
Okay, so the house was finished construction in 1765 for a British-born man named Roger Morris and his wife Mary Phillips Morris. Those two people fled. This was their summer residence. So back when the house was built, this would have not been considered a part of New York City. This was like a rural farmland. So this would have been their summer getaway. Their regular residence was in what's now like Lower Manhattan. They left during the American Revolution because they were British loyalists. The house was then occupied for 5 weeks by George Washington. During the Revolution, around the time of the Battle of Harlem Heights. Then the house was confiscated by the city from the Morrises. It was used briefly as a tavern. The land was farmed on by tenant farmers. Then in 1810, the house was purchased by the Jumel family. So that's the wife, Eliza Jumel, right there. She lived here with her husband, Stephen Jumel. And then later her second.
They were England or American?
Them?
The Jumel.
No, she was born, I want to say in like Rhode Island, but I'd have to check. But she was actually a woman born into poverty.
Okay.
Who became an actress and then married Stephen Jumel, who was a French merchant. So they were like Francophiles. So she was born into poverty, but later became one of the wealthiest women in Manhattan. She like grew their wealth through like real estate dealings. She was the longest living resident here, so she lived here from 1810 until she died in 1865 in her room upstairs. And then her living relatives, over time they sold off the property. In 1904, the house became a museum, and it was run by this group called the Daughters of the American Revolution. Then in like the 90s, they passed it on to us, to Morris-Jumel Incorporated, and the interior of the house is operated by the museum, and then the exterior of the house and the park is run by the Parks Department. That's why you might see a difference in the quality of the inside of the house and outside. The outside, needs restoration and repairs that the Parks Department is just delaying. That's pretty much it. We ask that you just follow the numbered stops along your tour. So stops 1 through 4 are going to be on this floor. Stop number 5 is going to take you downstairs to the basement where we've recreated an 18th century style kitchen. And then the rest of the rooms are all the way up the stairs. And then when you're done with your tour, you can come over here to the gift shop and we'll answer any of your questions. You can pay for your tour then, and then we're gonna let you out of that side door when you're ready to leave. We also ask that people just be mindful of your surroundings and refrain, of course, from like touching the furniture, even just like leaning on the doorways and the wallpaper, since the whole house is a part of our collection. We also have an addition to the tour right here, which seeks to tell visitors more about the history of the Northup family. Have you guys read or watched the movie 12 Years a Slave?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that memoir was written by a man named Solomon Northup. His wife, Anne Northup, was a free black woman from upstate New York who was actually hired by Eliza Jumel to be a domestic worker here. So she lived here from about 1841 to 1843 with her 3 children. So we have a little bit more information about them and about the relevant history in these cards.